Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Today I'm going to carry on in grounding theory and other research design. Tamam. But I want to go back for a little bit to connect you with the previous meeting. In the previous meeting, we talked about the some data collection methods and some research designs. Research strategies. You have to differ between the research design and research strategy. What I'm talking about is research design. اللي أنا بحكي فيه هو تصميم البحث. It's like experiment studies, like case studies, action research, grounded theory, ethnographic research, archival research. And you should know in more details about each of these research. It's interesting for the action research to go in details because it is important to the business and economic research. It's a very limited number of articles and research in the action research, as well as in other research like the ethnographic research and the grounded theory. Just to summarize what I've said in the action research, the action research aims to change the behavior of managers, employees. But some articles or some textbook, they called this action research with the 3B. Okay, a 3B research. A 3B research, it's a practice research. You are practicing your research. Practitioners. I will explain the difference between them and the progressions. These things aims to do changes in the business environments. And it also aims to have innovative environments, innovative environments, and in addition is for problem solving. Generally speaking, the action research is generally related to the generates innovative environment in the business, doing a change in the business, and solve the problems. It's more a practice rather theories. So it's not theoretical based. This is why it's a practice. The researchers going to the field, observing, try to correct some actions in the business. Practitioners, it means the practitioners involved in this research. It's not only the researchers. It's a much of relationship between the researchers and the practitioners. And this is much related to the applied research. هذا بالأغلب له علاقة في applied research, الأبحاث التطبيقية. Progressions, so it means when we in the practice or we are in the fields, in the business, and we involve the practitioners, we aim to have a progression in this company or in this business. For instance, some researchers visit particular startups in the United States, and then they observe what the startups doing. Then they intervene and correct some actions. They help them how to do their jobs. Then they record their performance accordingly. So again, it's a very interesting instruments in doing research by involving the research levels and the practice levels. Okay, considering the results or the outcomes of the research, innovation, change, and problem solving. Okay. And this action research, I want to remind you, it is more qualitative research than quantitative research. It's more specific in a particular challenges in the business and a particular problems. So when the company has problems or challenges, let's say, for instance, in the marketing department, the sales force, they don't have the capacity in communication or in communicate the customers. So the action research is not related to the training, rather to the practitioners and researchers intervene by themselves and try to help them to share the experience, to develop some best practices in the business. Then the employees can copying what they observe from the practitioners and apply the new knowledge in the business. As you observe, when I talk about generating a new knowledge, generating a new practices. So this is why the action research is interesting, because it generates new practices, new knowledge, new ideas for a particular challenges and problems. Okay? So this is the action research. If you are interested in the action research, you can go back to the textbook and you can go to the to other reference materials and then understand what the details. The grounded theory, have you ever know about the grounded theory? تعرفوا قبل في grounded theory what it means? سمعتوا قبل هيك في grounded theory؟ إيش كبير؟ Okay. Yes. You're right. What you said is exactly right. It's a matter of bringing the, starting from data collection from bottom to top. It's a very interesting, what she mentioned is very interesting in the research philosophy. Because, which is flashing back the differences between deductive and inductive. In the deduction, we start from top to bottom. It means we have a theory, deductive. We have theory, okay, and end with the data collection and analysis to examine our hypotheses and variables. So it's a top-down approach. However, the induction, it's starting from bottom, as Marah mentioned. It's from bottom up approach, starting from the data collection. Started from the data collection to the to building the theory. Okay, so linking the deductive with the inductive. Who's doing this? Yes, which research design can do this? The grounded theory. So the grounded theory is in charge on starting from the bottom level. Bottom level, it means from the data collection, then building the theory. I will show you how the theory is built, or the explanations is built. I call you to read from other textbooks, because in this textbooks the ground theory is not handled properly. So you can go to the Bremen et al. Or Bremen 2015, I think. Sekeran also, they have also very interesting textbook in research methodology. You can go back to them and to see how grounded theory is emerged and is developed. So as I mentioned, the grounded theory is inductive, then it's starting from the bottom up, and it's qualitative. Okay, it's from observation, from the interviews. How the grounded theory works? كيف grounded theory works? Let's go back to our understanding for the research. If we have research problems, or if we have social phenomenon or business problems, which includes social actions. But when we go back to the literature review, the literature review is not giving us a proper understanding for this problem. In other words, it's failed to answer our research question. Failed. يعني ما قدرت to answer our research questions. In other words, we are not satisfied with the explanations, with answers. The theory is not tackle or handle the research question. In this case, still the research question is not answered. السؤال البحثي ما تمش الجواب عليه. Or sometimes when we are in the deductive and we test the theory, the hypothesis failed to prove the theory. So in this case, there is a space to have another research, could be deductive, inductive. It means to go to have why this happened, why the theory failed to explain. For instance, if we train people on a particular business functions, then people failed. The theory saying motivate more training, it's more performance. But we train people, but the people is not working properly. So why? So in this case, we have to build our understanding on why people failed in doing their actions or in doing their business. The starting point, as we said, is to explain the social behavior, the social actions, because at the end of the day, inside the companies and organizations, people interact with each other. بالأخير إنه الناس بتتفاعل مع بعض. And these actions resulted in a particular functions and particular performance. وهذه التفاعلات بتؤدي إلى إنه إحنا ننجز إن نقوم بإنجازاتنا. So what is this? What is the level of interaction? إيش هو المستوى الinteraction? How people they behave with each other? Okay, then we can develop our understanding in a particular environment. ممكن إحنا نفسر بعض الفهم لبعض المنظمات وبعض المؤسسات الإدارية. So it's a matter of interpretations of how people behave inside the business. يعني هي علاقة مثلا بكيف الناس بتسلك داخل المؤسسة. Okay, then we build our knowledge. The grounded theory in general, starting from the data collection, as I mentioned. Data collection. So you have data. Okay. Observations. You remember when I talk about the observations. More observations, proper conclusions. كل ما احنا بنعمل observations أكتر لبعض بالضبط. يعني مثلا نعطي مثال بسيط انه كلنا بنعتقد انه الاوردرز is generated from top down. يعني ما احنا بنعطي قرارات فالسؤال هل في communications between the bottom to up؟ هل في علاقات، في اتصال بين لو اجينا احنا سالنا اي موظف نقول له هل في اتصال، ممكن يقول لي لكن in reality ما فيش اتصال. يعني just they communicate face to face مثلا، أو they arrange meeting every semi-annual meeting، بس هم بيلتقوا مع بعض كل نصف سنة. So how we have a clear-cut understanding, you have to live with them. In the qualitative, you have to observe whether they have communication skills or not. So therefore, you are using data. Data here is observations, which is represent dots, as we explained in that time. You just remember when we talk about this triangle. The more data you have, the more connections between the concepts you will have. Then from the data, you generate concept. You generate concept. مفاهيم. Okay? For instance, if you ask people about their business life, inside the companies, يعني حياتهم المهنية داخل الشركة نفسها. We just throw the questions. What is your business life? إيش هي حياتك؟ كيف حياتك؟ How? And you listen to the people. You interview, or you are sitting, or you are observing some people. Some people replying on the calls. Some people playing with their mobile phones. Some people meeting customers. Others, they are talking to their managers. So there's a lot of data available in the screen. I mean, when you are in the business. The more experience you have, the more data you will generate. If you are interested in particular subjects, you may observe a particular issues. If you are interested in the relationship between customers and employees, you are just only focused on this. If you are interested on employees' relationship, you just observe how employees are treated each others. If they are busy, for instance, other people helping them. Okay. If in the queue there are a lot of customers, how the back office intervene in this level. So it means you go to the company. Let's say you go to any company. You go to the Palestinian electrical power company. ممكن تروح على شركة الكهرباء وتشوف كيف الموظفين بيسلكوا without asking, observing how they treat customers, how they talk to each others, how they spend their time on the business. Okay, then you generate concepts. When you talk to the people, you generate concepts. When you ask them what is about your business life, then some people say we are upset, we are fine, we are okay, it's okay. So because we are interviewing different people, so we have different explanations. In this case, we generate concepts related to the business environments. Concepts sometimes related to the time. It's a headache. We came from the morning. It's long hours. We don't have break times. We don't have coffee meetings or coffee time, etc. So it's concept related to the time. Some people talking about the facilities. When you ask about the business life, say, okay, we have many facilities. We have the kitchen, we have the coffee room, we have the machines, we have equipments, okay? It could be some people, they talk about relationship. Others could be talk about communication with managers. Others talk about the customers. So these concepts could be interlinked with each other. Okay? Then these concepts could be categorized. This concept with this concept is category A. This concept with this concept, category B. And this concept with this concept, category C. So these categories are much related to the business environments. Okay? And then the categories lead us to the theory. So this is the way how we construct or build our understanding for. So in conclusion, we write the main conclusions on our observation and our interviews about the business life. We have different categories. For instance, some people talk about their wages. Others, they talk about, after setting the concept with each other, balance business and social life. Others thinking about health and safety conditions. Health and safety conditions. So these categories are much related to the theory, which related to the business life. So we can check this observation by another company. We have another observation with another company. So data bringing more concepts, then more categories. We go to another company, then data generates new concepts and new categories. We end up with a lot of observations, a lot of companies. Then we conclude in the first observation that we conclude that we have 3 categories. But when we finish our assignments after observing 50 companies, we may conclude, oh yes, let's say the business life includes 7 categories, not only 3 categories. Okay? So this is the way how we develop the theory. Then after setting this and telling the people that this is our new theory, we test the theory. Then we go back to the deduction. So in the induction could be is an introduction to the deduction approach. After setting the theory, we are fine with the theory. We have a lot of testing to the theory. We send it to a particular journal to have some peer reviews people, and to judge on the validity and reliability of this process, validity and reliability of your process. Then you have the theory, and you introduce the theory to the science. يعني بتقدموا هذه النظرية للعلوم. So this is the grounded theory. A lot or a few people, they are doing grounded theory because it's a headache. And it's much qualitative, more observation. And people who are doing this, they have sufficient experience in business and research. So any question? أي سؤال؟ Sure. So ethnographic research. هي بيسموها الأبحاث الإثنية، علاقة الإنسان بالأرض. الأبحاث اللي لها علاقة بالإنسان وسلوك الإنسان ضمن فئة معينة. So it's derived from the field of ethnography or ethnoboology. الأنثروبولوجي أو الأنثروبولوجي، إيش الأنثروبولوجي؟ علم الأنسنة. يعني how the human developed. كيف الناس اتطورت. يعني مثلا ممكن احنا نشوف a particular group of people how they behave. يعني مثلا الفارمرز، الصيادين مثلا كيف هم بيتفاعلوا مع بعض. The people who are living in ARA places اللي هو access restricted areas. الناس اللي عايشين على الحدود. نشوف الترايبس، القبائل كيف هم بيتعاملوا مع بعض. So this is on understanding how different ethnicity behave in the social phenomenon. يعني إذا كانت مثلا for instance if you are in the international business environments, how different ethnicity behave in the business. يعني كيف الناس من مختلف العرقيات الأعراق بتتفاعل مع بعض. How they accept each other. كيف يعني في مسلمز، في مسيحيين، في يهود، في إذا كانوا بيشتغلوا في international business وكل واحد bringing his or her ideas and ideology to the company. فكيف بدهم يتفاعلوا مع بعض. So it's a matter of so it's related to the subject inhabits يعني عادات الناس سلوكها داخل it's much related to the culture الثقافة and it's much related to the values of people that's coming from their history. القيم تبعت الناس اللي جاية من التاريخ وجاية من العرق تبعهم. Sometimes the concept differ from people to people. المفهوم بيختلف من عرق لعرق، من ناس لناس. تمام؟ So this is ethnographic research is also interesting in the business. It's a new in the business. يعني مش كتير مطبقة في البزنس، جديد صاروا الناس يهتموا في الإثنوغرافيك research. So it's related to understanding the social world inhabited by the researcher. يعني العالم الاجتماعي داخل المؤسسة. كمان it's naturalistics يعني لها علاقة في الطبيعة نفسها وكيف how people behave with with their business. يعني نشوف كيف مثلا يعني نقول مثلا في منطقة جغرافية معينة كيف مثلا في شمال لندن السمول ميديوم انتربرايز طبعا هم اغلبهم بيكونوا مثلا فلاحين مثلا كيف بتفاعلوا مع بعض وكيف المرأة بتروح على الشغل وكيف الرجل how they manage their time how they manage their life تمام and something is inherited from their history. يعني بعض الناس مثلا ممكن ما يودوش اولادهم على المدارس لانه بيعتقدوا البزنس is more important than the education. Why this? Because they inherited on this. لو احنا طلعنا مثلا على الجنوب تاع لندن is business more business oriented because it's inherited. لو طلعنا مثلا على قطاع غزة majority of people are traders هم تجار little بعض فيها زراعة because Gaza is a gate to Shami place يعني هي عبارة عن بوابة لبلاد الشام. So the traders coming from Egypt to so it's at the end it's building a particular relationship between traders and residents يعني التجار and then it's become some marriage things between the traders and the residents in Gaza and by the time they become Gazans. بعبر الزمن أصبح هم أهل غزة. You can look at different places. You can talk about Nablus, how people in Nablus they treat themselves, how they manage their business, how they manage their daily life. If you talk about Al Khalil, for instance, or Al Quds, so it's much related to a particular group of people, how they bring their cultures into the business. كيف بيجيبوا الثقافة تبعتهم so it's look here it allows research to questions focused on the past how the past is important to you in the present كيف الماضي مهم للحاضر okay is constrained by the nature of the records and documents كمان sorry, this is for the archival. For how the past helped people to understand how to understand their social communication with others. Let's talk now about the archival research. Archival research is much related to the documents. الارchival research اللي هو الارشيف بنسموها ايش؟ الابحاث الارشيفيه. ابحاث ايش؟ ارشيفيه. يعني مثلا البورد اوف دايركتورز they have meetings, regular meetings, and they keep records of these regular meetings. وهم بيكون عندهم records. So some researchers coming and doing research on these records. ممكن يعمل أبحاث على الريكوردز بسموها archival research. يعني مثلا how the board of directors taking decisions. It's recorded in the meeting minutes. So the researchers coming and taking the meeting minutes and to do analysis, whether the board of directors share their knowledge with the other peers, what the process, whether they communicate, whether they negotiate, whether they access, etc. So it's the unit of analysis here is much related to the documents. إلها علاقة بس في المستندات زي الميموز ممكن تبعت المانجرز ممكن يحللوا مثلا الدايري تبعت شؤون الموظفين. ف any documents or any records available in the business is a matter of research. تمام؟ So there are a lot of examples of archival research. في عديد من archival research. For instance, if we want to see the active managers, the questions before, archival research, we can look at the archival research whether they attend the regular meetings assigned by their managers or by top management levels, whether they contribute by their ideas, active managers, whether they following up. So all of these things are written in the meeting minutes. كل هالأشياء مكتوبة وين؟ في meeting minutes. So you bring the meeting minutes and then you do some analysis. If the meeting minutes, if you have, see, 10 meeting minutes, and you do analysis, you will see whether, for instance, Muhammad is an active or not. You see how many times Muhammad is repeated in the meeting minutes, and what is the level of his contribution in the meeting minutes. Because meeting minutes is a summary for the meetings. In this summary, it's he suggested some ideas, he's contribute in discussion. Also in the meeting minutes, it's listed who's coming and attending the meeting minutes and who's not coming. Okay? And also in the meeting minutes is assigned the next or the future tax. Whether Ahmed, Muhammad or Saeed or whatever is assigned task for the future time. In this case, you see Muhammad holding a lot of things on his shoulder. It means he's an active one. You don't want to ask people whether Ahmed or Muhammad is active or not. Just go to the meeting minutes. Just go to the memos of managers. Just go to the sticks. You know, some people they are leaving some sticks on the boards. You can go and collect them, and then you do analysis on these documents. Yes, it is sometimes is a funny things. Funny to collect these small pieces, but these small pieces it's give you some indicators about who is an active and who is not active. Okay. Some people they can go to the diary. Okay, you know the diary, in the diary and writing some notes. So they can collect these diaries and collect it from all managers and do analysis on these. What the notes they are writing on, whether you see it's interesting issues when you're collecting these notes and do analysis what the things they are writing on these diaries. زي اللي هاي مش بيسموها الكالندرز. في الكالندرز نكتب الملاحظات تبعتنا. Like your calendar, if I want to know whether you are active one or not active one, I may ask you, give me your calendar, please. And if I see your calendar is full of notes, then you are active. If your calendar is empty, then and the nature of what you're writing in your calendar. If you write, okay, just going to some coffee shop meetings, okay, so it's fine. If you write meeting with manager X, meeting with employee Y, meeting with having arranged discussions with Z or with Z, discussions with Y, having discussion with customers, arrange a meeting with Y. So a lot of things you are doing on your calendar. So this is why I'm telling you it's a very nice piece of research, despite is the funny things you are looking at. You have calendar, but this calendar could be reveal some indicators, realistic indicators about your behavior. It's like when you have your textbook. It's like my textbook. If you have some people are writing all things. So when people write on the margins, it means it could be they are good readers, or they have a lot of readings or a lot of explanations. Okay. So archival research reveal for the content analysis, تحليل محتوى البيانات. Okay. So the research strategies, the role of the practitioner's researcher as a key feature. The research access is more easily available. The researcher knows the organization. It's important how practitioners and researchers, they work to each other, or the researcher become as a practitioners. يعني كتير مهم إنه لما إحنا بنبقى نعمل أبحاث على شركات، وخاصة إذا كنا بنعمل applied research، إنه إحنا نكون نفهم المؤسسة. ما تكونش إحنا بس theory based، إحنا بس نظريين. So we would like to have practitioners and researchers with each other. يعني الباحثين والكمان المهنيين أو اللي بيمارسوا أعمالهم الإدارية مع بعض. Therefore, researcher access more easily available. يعني إذا كان في عندي أنا research projects، وهذا research projects includes researchers and practitioners from the company، إذا سهل إنه إحنا نعمل بحث، لأنه معنا ناس من الشركة بتساعدنا. The researcher knows the organization. كمان الريسيرشر بصير يعرف أكثر المنظمة والشركة. Has the disadvantages of familiarity. لأنه disadvantage of familiarity إنه بعض الحالات إنه هو مش معروف في المؤسسة. And sometimes the beauty of this، بعض الحالات إنه when bringing some people from outside, they may observe things you are not observed as a practitioners. يعني ممكن هو يشوف شغلات انتو you are live with this in daily basis, but you are not observe this. يعني أنا sometimes I talk to people, sometimes we forget we are living on the Mediterranean Sea. مرات إحنا بننسى إنه إحنا عايشين على البحر الأبيض المتوسط. We are living in even nearby, but we are not enjoying looking at the sea. بننسى إنه إحنا عايشين على البحر. It's the sea is exist, but whether you are looking at, you observing it, but when people coming from outside, the first things they are coming to see is the sea. Okay, the thing is exist. الإشي موجود، لكن you are not act with this presentation. The researcher is likely to their own assumptions and preconceptions. كمان researchers كمان it's a space to examine his or her assumptions and preconceptions. Sometimes he correct his assumptions. يعني بيكون عنده فرضيات مسبقة، ممكن من خلال التفاعل مع المنظمة مع البراكتس يغير المفاهيم اللي عنده. But practitioner researchers, the dual rule requires careful negotiation. لما يكون البراكتيشنر هو نفسه الريسيرشر، أو researcher هو نفسه practitioners، فهو is playing a dual role، يعني بيلعب دور مزدوج، إنه he's a manager and he's a researcher. وبالتالي sometimes explain things from his management perspectives, not from his research perspectives. And sometimes explain things from research perspectives rather from the management perspectives. So having practitioners and researchers together as one person or one guy is practitioners and researchers is fine, but you should be careful. لكن احنا بدنا نكون ايش؟ حذرين، لأنه ممكن إنه احنا to play two rules at once، إنه احنا بنلعب دورين في مكان واحد. Okay, let's stop here. Okay, and see you inshallah on Wednesday.